Alright. The early branch with British Daylight Savings Time, which means it starts at 4 o'clock instead of 3 o'clock. And now I have to wait patiently for the first round to begin. So let's see, I think everything's properly set. We do have a multi. I'm gonna go ahead and shoot that back to Nemesis since he's on it. That should be fine. Okay. So that's sent to Nem. And everything should be good. Hey, Sinner, how you doing? We're just waiting for the first round to begin. We're just below 100 players. Some notes, by the way, on just some random FNF news. They're going to have a Vietnam rotation soon. I don't know exactly when. I think it's for the end of this month. Could be, I think it's around there. I forget the exact dates of it. But there's that, and then a lot of Scandi Recon players are not going to be playing for the foreseeable future. We still have some. We have Iander in there for the moment. But last week we saw a combination of Scandi and Pepega for Halloween stuff, but as far as I know, there are some Scandi players that have decided not to play in FNF anymore. We still have players like Nafs and Nemesis here. And we'll see some of their, second and third gen players, but some of the OG guys that made Scandi one of the best communities on FNF, they're gone with no intention to return. So Azariah and Nimia, two names there as examples. But we'll see if that creates a power vacuum for Pepega to now become the top community. Because a lot of the people that they're losing are some of the guys that are known for leadership in that element's capacity. So we'll just see how that goes. But, just keeping things going. We'll see how things change with the early branches power dynamics. We'll see if Pepega truly dominates at that point. But just going to be a matter of who the heck knows at that point. All right. Sending Bloodwind a quick text about dinner tonight, but otherwise, this is going to be the first round of the early branch. For those of you that have been missing a lot, we can now call the early branch. It was the EU branch, we call it the early branch now, and it's pretty much the same thing. Gazaga loaded with SOG Prairie Fire, that's cute. But Scandi didn't quit FNF. There's still players from Scandi playing FNF, but some of the original Scandi members don't play FNF anymore. But we still have Nemesis on tonight. I entered the AT God. Nafs is on. But, Malin, he's now an admin. And he, spectates instead. That's why he's in channel right now. But that's just what I was talking to Azariah, aka Lone Survivor, about. And that's the plan for Scandi. Because some of them are just bored with it. And hey, that's just up to them. But regardless, Drunk Firebear, thanks for the 12-month resub. Welcome to the Lance Corporal Club. And JY, thanks for the 40-month resub. I hope you both keep enjoying the operations. I do hope you get a nice kick out of FNF tonight. Again, we started late because of daylight savings time for Britain. It's British daylight savings time. I can't English today. But we've got that going, which is quite nice. But otherwise, Keenan, thanks for the 29-month resub as well.
Send in Goat Team 6.
There's a show.
I finally have time to catch a stream after like 3 weeks.
Kane, and I know the feeling, man. But yeah, there's Nim right there to say that, yeah, Scandi is, stopping. Not everyone. in Scandi is stopping. Again, we still have a few people on tonight, but, you know, that's from them, not me. But otherwise, thanks to whoever put up the prediction. I almost forgot to do that. But otherwise, yep, that's just how things are. But again, Keenan, thanks for the 29-month resub. Hope you get to relax a bit this weekend if you've been working so hard over the past 3 weeks, and I do hope you get a nice kick out of this scenario. But feel free to ask Nim any questions there. Regardless, this is the first round of the early branch. It's going to mainly be infantry only, so there's going to be a bit of a 1.5 km walk-in first. You might see Blue 4 try to counter push and hold the town of Klein, or they're just going to hold their sectors, which appear to be just random points in the woods. What's weird is they only have 60 fortify points for building, so I don't know what the plan is there. But regardless, let's quickly look at the mission breakdown here without, you know, glitching into viewing everything. Otherwise, this was made by Anderson. And it's weird because this says it's a late mission. So I guess they didn't have enough mission submissions this week, so they pulled from some early and some late. But regardless, background, alt history, Soviet Union has commenced a large-scale offensive into West Germany using its border forces. NATO forces in the region are slow to respond, leaving underprepared West German positions to hold the Wipro River. Area of operations, the momentum finally shifts in favor of the Soviet forces following the capture of Molbath. I'm assuming this is part of a campaign because it says Invasion 4, so this is probably a campaign they were running in the late branch, which we don't cover on this channel. So I'm assuming this is all plot points of where that all went, but let's go ahead and read it out. Following the capture of Molbath by the Yugoslavian contingent, with the West German forces in the south in full retreat, the Soviet assault forces turned their attention to the West German remnants attempting to fortify themselves in the Hoth Hulls forest. Due to the costly capture of Roche Crossing and the failure to rout the West German forces near, I'm not going to try to pronounce those two words, Russian forces in the center are unable to push forward to the forest. The call once again comes to Yugoslavian contingents as they are requested to push north and hit the unprepared enemy in the flank. The invasion enters its 10th hour as critical Hochholz forest comes under the assault in the West German center. Meanwhile, battered West German forces receive word that their NATO allies are finally mobilized and moving to reinforce the front. Okay, a lot of stuff right there. Anyway, Zad sector. If the attacking faction has more people in the sector than the defending faction, it starts a 90-second timer. If that 90-second timer elapses completely, then the sector's captured. Defenders can't recapture the sector. And then there's 3 sectors. All 3 have to be taken within the 50-minute round for the attackers to win. Otherwise, mission variables, 1 kilometer view distance, no magnified optics nor NVG equipment, only 60 build points. I want to look at the AOs in a second to see how that goes. I read in the mission file there was no medium anti-tank settings, so we're just going to skip over these. Otherwise, Blue Force uniform are going to be West German forces. To give a quick breakdown of everything, you got your platoon lead, platoon sergeant, squad leader, team leader, auto rifleman assistant, Grenadier IR that have the Hunt IR grenades, 40mm camera grenades you can fire in the air. It turns into a little bird's eye camera for the guy that fired them to use. It's really handy for reconnaissance. Machine gunner, assistant, combat engineer, light anti-tank, medium anti-tank. These roles don't exist anymore. Well, they do in some capacity. This one doesn't exist. This one does. They scrubbed Matt 2 from the roster. Same with RA, RIS, and SNP. They do not exist anymore either, but the DMR does exist. I think there's 1 in every squad now under the command element. For the squad. Otherwise, crew lead, crewmen, pilots, medics, and base kits. Loadout for the Blue 4 guys are going to be G3s or Colt carbines, M9 Berettas as their secondary. Support weapons are going to be a mix of MG42s and MG3s, so basically 7.92 or 7.62 by 51 NATO, because an MG3 is, I think, just a rechambered MG42, but regardless, light anti-tank is going to be single-shot disposable AT4, aka the 136M, and then an HK MP5 or a Colt carbine for crew and aviation, but unless they're giving a crew for the HMG Jeep, I don't think they're going to see any of those slots. Nothing on crew served weapons, and then they get the 1 little 50 cal Jeep. It's adorable. That gunner is going to be completely exposed, though, probably get sniped off almost immediately. Otherwise, looking at Op 4's uniforms, they get the Yugoslavian Army kits. Their weaponry is going to be a mix of either M92s or M70s, which are just AK clones. I believe they're chambered in 7.62 by 39. Their support weapons are going to be an FM84 or an FN mag, so 2 medium machine guns to counter Blue Force 2 medium machine guns. Interesting. Slightly lower fire rates, but still pretty deadly. Light anti-tank's probably going to be an RPG with a single shot in it, and then crew and aviation doesn't matter because they don't have crew or aviation slots. Otherwise, looking at the roster here, since we're on the OpForce side, we got Vagrant commanding. He is one of the, I would say, top commanders in FNF because he's one of the guys that often do it. Otherwise, Fred is going to be his 2IC, Grav is 3IC, Norris as the platoon medic, Shy leading Alpha, with Lolo as the marksman. Marksman get M76s. Nice. Still a 10-round 7.62 by 5.4 marksman platform, so almost the same as the SVD, just literally a different gun, but chambered in the same amount. Same magazine, and they have the same amount of bullets, 10 per mag, so it doesn't really matter too much. Otherwise, Jack as the squad's 2IC, Olaf leading Alpha 1 with Slushy, Reaper, Sam, Mutant, and Misfit under him, Oddball leading Alpha 2 with Drago, Arkeen, Michael, Idiot Wolf, Private Waldo, and Twins. Freezno leading Bravo, he's only taking a Bravo medic with him. Bravo 1 has Pingus with Grongzanga, MFL, Mixaku, Giovanni, Albert Q. That's it under him. No Bravo 2. Charlie being led by Valitarian with Zally as the 2IC. Datalore being the marksman and Flaninja being the medic. Skits leading Charlie 1 with Storm, Huller, Zombie Forever, Roofy, Pyros, and Kale. And it looks like there's no Charlie 2. Meanwhile, Nemesis leading Delta with Iander as the group's medic, Kazul with Whiplash and Zentric under Delta 1, Nafs under Delta 2 with Cullis and Cats. And that's the extent of Scandy today. So it's only, 8 guys, enough to run their own squad. But since I think we're below triple digits for EU, it makes sense. Otherwise, looking over at Blue 4 today, we got Depso leading with Timek as his 2IC, Pierce leading Alpha 1 with Steve as his marksman medic, and the marksmen have M14s. Nice. And he's got an E-clan scope on it. Anyway, Coco as the squad medic, Azuki leading Alpha 1, Holton, Newton, Fonz, Wise, and Kabubi Face, Khalil leading Alpha 2 with Heartseer, Roderick, Blast, Alipuz, Renly, and Toxic under him. King leading Charlie with Cake here as the 2IC, Novix as the marksman, and Armor Jesus as the medic. Flux. Actually, no, it's Bayan leading Charlie 1 with Flux, Roster, Artisan, and Bronze under him. Pro Hunter leading Charlie 2 with Aim with Balls, Grogu, Crazy, and Solomon's under him. Ash leading Delta with Major Khan as the medic. Delta 1 being led by Banks with Swallow, Wheaton, and Gazag. And Drury leading Delta 2 with Bard and Cheviak under him. And then Gamma 1, which is going to be a dedicated vehicle crew, is going to be Ghoster and Patriot, driving the little, the adorable little car here. All right. So the timer for capturing the round is 180 seconds. So 2 minutes. No, 3 minutes. All right. Thanks for the clarification, Malin. Otherwise, the sectors are literally a lawn patch of forest here. That is literally unholdable. Like, that is how many? That's at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like 850 meters of... It's a defense line, but there's no fortification budget. There's only 60 points for it, which is less than half of the default 125 build points. So unless they completely redid the build point system, that's not a lot to work with at all. And then you got Sector 2, which is another random patch of forest here, which is also kind of unholdable. And then you have Sector 3, which is a military base with a bunch of open fields around it. I don't know, chat. Would you rather hold an 850-meter sector of nothing but open forest? Would you hold a 100-ish by 300-ish meter on a road here? Or would you rather take the military base? Tough call. Tough call. Perfect. Pierce would battle line over it. Of course, Nimmy, of course. Well, so here's the thing. Here's why I'm a little against the Forest AOs, because I agree with Azariah. You can make a really good Forest AO, but they do not have the build points for that. 60 build points, to put in perspective of things costing anywhere between like 5 and 15... that doesn't give you a lot of stuff to actually build a proper defensive position on. Like, they could probably, in the middle, build something, but here's the thing about Ad Sector. You only have to get your people in the corner of the sector, and then you can just camp the corner for 3 minutes. And as long as the attackers have more people in that sector than the defenders in the zone for those 3 minutes, they'll take the sector. So, if it was the previous way Ad Sector was done, where you had to clear the entire sector, an AO like this would make sense, because you could hide people along, you could just have, just a few guys sprinkled around, and it would force the enemy to literally make a battle line and sweep left to right, light, with like 1 or 2 squads that support each other. But with how sector control is done now, I feel like this AO is completely eh. You know what I mean? Because this has to rely on you holding the entire line. Because if one part throttles, you're pretty much screwed. So this is not attainable at all. Unless you have like 1 or 2 dudes decide, hey, I'm going to throw satchels at the enemy. Just like corner campaign and then try to get away. Because at that point, that's the only strategy I can think of, but they don't allow for things like that. Anyway. Don't get me wrong, I mean, it's nice. You also have access to this massive open area. But they've only got, I don't know, 40 dudes on this side? 40 to 45, because out of a 95-ish player server, you have to give 10% to Op4, which means this is about a... To make 95, this is about a 45 v 50 situation. It would be more biased than that, so it would be like 42 versus 48, 49? Something like that. Bets are still going. Just refresh the page. But, with that high of a number advantage, I mean, all Op4 really needs to do is, if they want, they can just push up to the forest and fight side to side. They could sneak a force around over here and use this flanking area here to try to get in, but we're just going to see Op4 doing a lot of smoke pushing. But it is worth mentioning that you basically have, this is the end of the AO right here, you have this massive open area along this road, which, has a few gaps, but this is an infantry-only fight. So if Blue 4 had the manpower, they could probably dominate these AOs, but with less people, it's a tough call. Ukraine sim, shush. Will I buy the $8 Twitter tick? No. I don't see a need to get that thing, because, I mean, what I went out to achieve is be almost instantly recognizable in Arma 3 by anyone that plays Arma 3, and I have that, so I don't really need any more of that. I've done what I've needed in that sense, but let's talk back about the mission here. Op4, meanwhile, looks like they're dividing into Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta. We might actually see a battle line push by Vagrant. That'll be interesting. But in this AO, it makes sense, because you just have to prod for where the enemy isn't holding the defensive sectors and just go in through there. So, I don't know. That's just my 2 cents. I think I missed a sub message. Yes, I did. Blunt Traps, thanks for the 2 Tier 1 gift subs. If you got a sub from Blunt, make sure you thank him. Otherwise, I hope you all keep enjoying the operations, and I hope you get a nice kick out of this scenario. Also, Shark, happy early birthday, buddy. I don't know. Beyond that, there isn't really any other way to properly talk about this AO. Op4 is either going to run left or right. They're not going to go through these open areas. They're going to just use the forests to get by. Blue 4, they're totally going to make a defensive line. All right, good luck to them. I could see Op4 splitting into 2 parts. One part goes up through Klen and tries pushing in through this forested area, and the other part pushes around the flank and tries to prod in through over here, because these are just kill zones all the way around. But other variables to consider here for this round particularly. You do have Pepega Pirates in force tonight with 9 of some of their best guys here. Then again, I don't see Legal Action, but I do see Flux, I do see Kane, I do see Armagesus. And I do see Ban, who, he's his own guy, and he would be, in my opinion, the best player on these days. No Legal Action, though. And no Guy Fieri. Those are the 2 that are missing. Op4, they do have, Scandia Recon with them, but in a diminished capacity. A lot of these players are the 2nd or 3rd gen players. Actually, I don't even see... I don't know if Cats and Cullis there, I would call them 2nd or 3rd gen, but there were 2 recruitment waves with Scandia Recon. And that's why I break them apart with that. So Whiplash was part of Recruitment Wave 1. Purton was part of Recruitment Wave 1. And then I think Cullis Cats were all part of Recruitment Wave 2. So no Flavor Town. Yep. But otherwise, I do think this is going to be a bit of a blotted out AO in terms of time, because Op4 needs to spend 10 minutes maneuvering into the AO. They're going to hit a brick wall with Blue 4's defense line. I do appreciate Blue 4 at least leaving some units in Sector 3 to hold that area out, but otherwise they're trying to make a battle line here. But I guess the question becomes, where would you set up your defensive lines as Blue 4? I'm going to be honest, having a fire team here, a fire team here, and a fire team here wouldn't be too bad to hold that entire area. But this is going to be a major push point over here. And you already got Op4 charging in. And we'll just have to see where they move in here. Oh, Joe, man, I remember running virtual machines in college for cybersecurity coursework. Why is Roofy just spinning? Oh, God. Malin. Malin, is stamina still...
He ran out of stamina to force you to fall into the ground. It gets stuff to like black out and stuff when you're walking.
Malin, is stamina still an issue, quote unquote?
Alright, boys, stamina break.
It's not an issue now, in your opinion? All right, cool. Just making sure, because I remember a lot of people were complaining about that. Because I was about to say, if they still have that old stamina system, Op4 is going to take like 15 minutes to get over there with breaks, because, ugh, you know? But yeah, cybersecurity stuff. If I wasn't doing YouTube, I'd be doing cyber right now. That's what I got my degree for, so...
Yeah,
you know... You won't see people walking around asthmatic. Oh, what the hell? Asthmatic AF, but they won't be able to sprint 200 meters in a line nonstop, which makes sense. However, when you give the players 1.5 kilometers of distance to cover, I don't know. I'm always a fan of less maneuver time, but the choice of maneuvering across different routes, but, you know... You shouldn't wait 20 minutes to get into your AO, you know? Have the fun. Minimize the setup. Yet I cover OFCRA, which, by the way, we didn't cover OFCRA because I wanted to go out with Bloodwing for dinner, but I forgot, you know, British Daylight Savings Time, it pushed them back, so I wouldn't have had the time to get dinner, do OFCRA, and then go to POG. So I had to make a decision. So that's why we didn't cover off-gray yesterday. Nim, is that a jab at me, or is that a jab at another player? Because for all I know, it's a jab at me, because I had an op where I made people do that. I've had an op where I've made people do almost everything these days, so I always expect it to be a jab. But yeah, people just taking stamina breaks, slowly moving up. They've moved roughly 800 meters from their starting point. No, about 500. Some a little up to 800, though, but looks like all of them are going for the town to then move in on this area, and then Blue 4 Alpha is starting to set up over here. Yes, the Iander op. I don't know. In terms of Zeus ops, I have a lot of things I need to put on paper. Or no, actually, not to lie. I have them on paper. I just need to build them. And I think tonight I might actually, after the 40K op, do some building. Because I have... I'll say it now. So I had a really interesting Predator op idea for the SOG Prairie Fire dev team to run, but their head honcho was taking six weeks off to do some stuff. Now that he's back, he wants to get it back to being super serious, which I'm totally fine with. But he said maybe for April Fool's Day or a holiday, we can do something like that. So if you want to see some Vietnam veterans fight a Predator, you're going to have to wait till either Christmas or April Fool's. But I have that idea. I have the script work, and it's ready. I just have to find the op slot. But I have to make another major event for them. We have an idea for that. I got to build. There's some one-offs I need to build. There's just a lot of Zeusing I got to make and get set for. And then I have a lot of editing to do as well. So, you know.
Thank you, Michael.
Do you know you can jump and you don't use stamina? It's a fun fact.
So I think this is the second stamina break starting to form. 5 minutes into the round for, which, you know, it's not bad in terms of time. Another 5 without resistance, they'd make it to Sector 1. So I'll retract my statement. I thought it would take them a little longer. You know, you're right, Ravetti. If you go in a jogging pace and lower your weapon, usually you do not drain stamina, but that is also dependent on how the settings are set for performance. If the performance setting isn't high enough, you might actually still drain stamina. So I do have a next MCO and another checkpoint RP also on the docket. I just want to get them done, but I'm hoping this weekend we do a lot of op dev streaming. And then I know there's a game out there called Dark Tide that's coming out this month that a buddy of mine really wants to just binge. And I kind of want to binge it with him too. And then there's another game called Core Keeper, which I want to get Bloodwing into because that's been my go-to casual game. But there's a lot to do. There's also a few other things that I've been saying I want to get into that I haven't had the opportunity yet. Because my life is literally a back and forth pendulum of I'm feeling great on cloud 9, getting everything done, and then something happens and completely screws me over.
Yeah.
So there's a lot on the docket. We just have to get there, essentially.
You know what sucks, Sam?
Love how Drago is up here just running ahead. Looking at some of the blue 4 over here. They've set up defensive positions. You got Khalil up here on point.
Contacto,
Oh, they just called contact.
190. We have enemies 190. Enemigos en 190.
Start shooting.
Seems like they're approaching us.
So I'm curious if Kabubi's set up explosive traps here. Because this is a really great angle to view anything that, you know, comes up. So if he has them set, great. If he doesn't, oh well. But this would be a great place to hide a machine gun. Prone right here. Just at the edge of the dirt. And then shoot people in the kneecaps. But it looks like they're already starting to pull back. Blue 4, they've got a flanking force right here, which, again, a really good thing to cover with, but there's 2 routes that can be utilized, and Op 4 just decided to go all eggs in one basket here, which makes sense, because they only have those 2 choices. So you see him shooting at targets over here from the top of that dirt mound. He's got a full squad coming up on his right side, though. You know, Fives, I've thought of something like that. Because the 228th really liked the Halo Predator op I did for them. I'm going to write that one down, actually. Write that one down. Because I'm looking for more horror op ideas, but they're different from my norm. And something like that would be pretty dope. So Kabubi's pulling back. He didn't get any kills there. Op 4 is going to continue their push. Blue 4 doing a staggered retreat here. They've set up a new defensive line. And it looks like you're going to have a squad of Op 4 following the forested area over here. Might get pinned down over here by fortifications and be forced to pull back, but they could also use this rock wall to move in. But already we're seeing some machine gun fire overhead here, but as you can see, the rock wall can help them out while they're prone. Retaliating with the spray of his own over here. And then this is where we see some of the defensive positions dug by Blue 4 with their limited 60 build points. They're actually able to make a few good defensive lines here. Good for them. You can, Fies. I wrote it down on some paper, actually. Which, by the way, I need to also be writing highlights down. I completely forgot to do that. Otherwise, you got Blue 4 still pulling back over here. Yeah, right, Fives? It's hard to replicate something like that in Arma 3, though, but... Alright, they're doing their best to pull back here. Wait, Op 4 is basically putting most of their forces to the forested area. They're leaving a force on the outside. I doubt we'll see anything trying to do a far flank here. You've got the Blue 4 Jeep potentially going to mount up and move over to assist. Charlie might also pull around. But unless Op 4 commits Alpha over to this side, holding that flank for that amount of manpower isn't really going to be beneficial for Blue 4. But it allows them to come in later in the AO and try to counter attack as Op 4 pushes in, potentially hitting their exposed flank. So I wouldn't call them out of it just yet. But let's see. So we actually already had a few people die back all the way back here. Something shot these guys to shit. I have no idea what would have caused that. That would have had to have been Alpha on Blue 4. Yet, as I checked, Blast has gotten a kill, and, yeah, I have no idea what would have caused those, because those are really far back in the AO. Weird. Interestingly enough, you got Delta now taking pot shots over at Delta here. Blue 4 Delta versus Op 4 Delta. These guys trying to stay in the small tree line here. We see some trenches getting dug. This is just going to be an extended firefight to pin Delta right here until they decide to move. But there is a machine gunner right here trying to pin them down. You got some pretty nasty enfilade fire coming in from these two angles on Blue 4. I don't know, that's a lot going down. Otherwise, looks like Alpha is fully pulling away for Blue 4's side, and you got the rest of Op 4's line coming in. This leaves Charlie with a dilemma here.
Holy shit, man.
Not sure if they're going to decide to come around and reinforce the line. This is Papega, though. So Papega could easily come in and do a massive flanking action. And you got Flux right here, prone with an MG, waiting to see if Op 4 comes around, but we might just see a massive battle line start to take root here. Op 4, meanwhile, they're doing a pullback here. They got some forces trying to cover them, but yeah, this is just untenable. So we might see them fully pull back and then go around. Colas, I think he was prone to take a stamina break, but most of the tree line is going to help him out. There is a little bit of an opening right here, which creates a danger zone. Yeah. You got Cats alone over there, but now you've got the Op 4 line starting to come up. It's going to be fighting with this Blue 4 line here, but just look at the amount of units you have comparable on this line. And the reason for that is Blue 4 has a full squad on the flank and another full squad defending a different sector. So Op 4 could break through, but You are starting to see a Charlie counterattack here. With a machine gun
this
overwatching.
I was shooting myself. Really funny. Oh, that.
Op 4 RPGs firing into the tree line here. But this is Blue 4's only real hope, I would say. If they can have Charlie sweep the players left or right here, the eastern to the southern flank, that's where they'll get their greatest advantage. And they're leading with
like
a marksman.
260 front.
Yeah, unfortunately, Slushy has an M84. Oh, Novix with the loop-de-loop! A lot of grenades being chucked back and forth here. Charlie for Blue 4 doing its best to come in. Alpha might start sending forces along its flank to go check it out. You want this Blue 4 line to keep engaging. You got one dude in the middle of the road for some silly reason. That was a bad call. Got some GLs firing in. Now here's the deal. If Op 4 immediately turns and stops this Charlie force from moving in, that's going to still leave plenty of forces to push in. But now you're starting to see the power dynamic shift here as Blue 4 and Op 4 close the CQC. King getting knocked out by grenades. I think a friendly grenade actually killed him there. Oh, there's another Blue 4 guy here that just died. I think that was a blue on blue. Got Novix on 3 kills, trying to push up on his own. He just knocked Twins out. Fighting Drago's machine gun. And there he goes. Pierce is squad leading in Blue 4. He's not commanding. Hey, Slash. We just watched you get ring around the rosy there. So yeah, not a lot of Blue 4 guys are remaining here. Most didn't even commit to the push. You got Artisan, who did that blue on accident, now coming around. He's got that -1. And Op 4's reconsolidated Delta into their left flank here. And I think they're going to either commit to a smoke push or just wait for Blue 4 to drain all their ammo. Yes, Slushy, you did get a kill. So many ghillie men. Shut up, Pumpkin. Daisy jokes. So Op 4 might be trying to pull away there, reconsolidate its forces, and push up this route and get a good supporting line going. So far, it's too early to call who's going to win. But if Op 4... I don't know why they're smoking the side. They're going to want to smoke this route to go in, because smoking here to charge in the open would be suicide. That's fair, Slushy. So you got some GL smoke going as well. Blue 4 doing their best here to hold what lines they have, firing at who they can. Op 4's got a little bit of room to move up here in defilade cover, but it runs out right here. Now you got Artisan coming around here. Might run into Misfit, but Misfit's watching his sector. And a posture check and hydrate. Yeah. But it looks like Blue 4 are gonna not counterattack. They're instead pushing up over here to then get in the defensive sector. So I think Op4 is eventually going to overpower here. Now you've got Alpha 2 on a good defensive line here. They got a fortification. They have a machine gunner in a really great spot. But how much can they handle? You got Bant, Flux, and Artisan now pushing that flank again. And you got ground commanders over here trying to spot the line that Blue Force creating. But here's the Op4 push. It's a lot of blind suppression here. You got one KIA up here. Marksman on point, doing his best to watch these fortified positions. Toxic just got hit by a GL. You got Scandy coming up as well. Blue Force still slowly sweeping here. All of Op4 is going to try to go up this area. And they're slowly going to make ground. This is going to cause Blue 4 to turn this force over here and try to reinforce the sector. And you're going to have a lot of line fighting here. You might have Op 4 divert a squad early on, because I don't think they're going to commit everything on the sector because of its limited size. Grenades being thrown up, getting caught on that bunker line. Some getting over, though. Grenades being thrown back. That one could do some serious damage. People are just far enough away. Bad frag right there. And Casual manages to kill a buddy with that one. Nemesis now pushing. Naf's leading the charge here. You got another smoke grenade set being pushed over here to try to stop that tower from firing. More grenades being thrown over. That one's also a smoke grenade. AT being fired on Naf's position. I think they saw him and think he's an enemy. So you still have this force right here. I guess they're not set in a position to harass this side, so I guess they're just waiting on reserve. You got Op4 up here using this hard line to cover. Another grenade thrown. Does some damage to this group. Toxic shot in the back, knocked unconscious again. Yeah, we could have seen some Overwatch fire from over here, Op4 suppressing these positions as the force closed in, but we didn't really see any of that coordination. It was just up to the spearhead to brute force it, which they did because Blue 4 didn't have that many defenders, but it just shows there might be a little bit of a lack of coordination here. Ground is giving a plan, but it's not clear enough. That's another grenade. More grenades being thrown. They're bouncing off the trees. They're down to 3 defenders here. Toxic's back awake. And there's Sector 1 being captured because enough Op4 guys are entering it. Blue 4 hasn't entered it, so now Blue 4 is immediately pushing into the sector. And it looks like Flux and Bayan, the 3 of them, pull back around. And those 2 are cut down. So yeah, you got 3 bodies back here. Toxic's unconscious once again. I think these guys might have blown themselves up to their own grenades because Blue 4 was already dead at that point. That's kind of funny. Got some more fire coming into here. More AT being fired up yonder. I'm really surprised this Vic is not trying to utilize this area here and harass them. Now you got the prompts coming up. So this shows Op4, if they get everyone in the sector right here, they can capture this sector by default and force Blue 4 to then do a counterattack. And that's why I feel like this sector is a bit lacking here, because Blue 4 doesn't have the manpower to hold if Op4 pushes all their forces along one tangent. So we see that box being filled, which means Op4 has more people in here than Blue 4. If Blue 4 consolidate everyone, then maybe they'll be able to hold it, but Op4 have the manpower, just push everyone in. Yeah, Red 05s. Now, skull count-wise, I mean, Blue 4 have lost almost the entirety of their Alpha Fire teams. Op 4 have lost a good chunk of Bravo 1, a good chunk of Charlie 1, a good chunk of Delta 1. But objectively, Op 4 still maintains the number advantage. Op 4 just need to be smart and keep their infantry in the sector. And Blue 4, at this point, they need to counterattack, because if they don't, then the sector's going to be taken by default. All right, so now you have the HMG Jeep trying to come up. Getting a little bit of air there because of the dug trench here. Sector's halfway captured, just another 90 seconds. But Blue 4, they're slowly moving up. Here's the thing, though. Op 4 pushing all these forces out might actually knock the sector out from being captured. You've got... Why are you crossing in the open? What the... Yep, there you go. So there goes those 3 minutes. So Op 4, I'm a little worried about, because now they might just bypass Sector 1 and go to 2 and 3 without actually capturing Sector 1. But that has completely reset the timer. Fred takes him out. Op 4 were able to get away with this, I think, because Blue 4 was either too far back or they were tunnel visioned in this area. Now the timer's reset. And you've got forces bypassing the sector to go... Oh, this is horrible. So if Blue 4 commits to a counterattack right now, as Op 4 are pushing forces to other sectors, at this rate, this group's going to take Sector 2, and then they're either going to go help take Sector 3, or they're going to pull back to Sector 1. But this is starting to defeat Op 4 in detail as the attacking faction, which means the leftover force at Sector 1 might be sufficiently weakened enough for Blue 4 to attack, but now they're pulling back. What? I guess they're fearful that the entirety of Op 4 has moved in here and is pushing them, so maybe they're thinking if they push to Sector 2, they'll have a better advantage, but we're only halfway through the round at 24 minutes remaining. At this point, you can't really stall for time. So I don't really get what's going on here. Op 4 left the sector again. So Blue 4 just pulls back and holds that strip of land all the way in the far corner. I think they'll be fine. But again, people aren't realizing the concept of sector control at the moment. So we're about to see a prompt for Sector 2, because when the first guy gets in there... Petrovsky just got blown away. Yeah, so Blue 4 is just going to hold this area because they've set up these defensive lines here. You're going to see the prompt for Sector 2 in a second. There's Sector 2 being captured. I really don't know what the plans are here, because now you got this force pulling north. Now I think they might have realized that Sector 2 just got prompted to being taken, so they're looking at what to do. Yeah, they're pulling out. To go where, though? Because there's nowhere for them to go, because Sector 2 is being taken. So the only remaining sector is Sector 3. So now Sector 1's going to be taken as long as there's a single Op 4 guy. I'm a big fan of you always play the objective, not the PvP itself. The PvP is important, don't get me wrong, but Blue 4 is just throwing the match, and now they're going completely out of the zone. This is going to allow Op 4 to take these two sectors and just push into Sector 3. You know, that's a good question. Who's leading the... You can draw your own conclusions.
Run, 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 run. They're close. They're close. Keep running. Regroup on me, regroup on me. They are very close.
So I guess the only important fight, because Blue 4 with, what, a minute remaining on either sector, they're going to stay there. Op 4 just need to take this force, reinforce this group, and they'll be able to take Sector 3. So Flux moving back after giving covering fire. But I will reinforce the point I made earlier of I think these AOs are way too big for the player count we have on tonight. And the late branch gets less numbers than the early branch, and this was intended to be a late branch mission, so I have no idea how they would have done it. But who the heck knows? Blue 4 has 2, 4, 5, 7 dudes defending this sector. They might have had more, and they could have been killed off, but I'm not... Oh, I do see a body up here, so I had 8, give or take. They had 9, actually. Wheaton's dead, too. So there's sectors 1 and 2 taken, so now Op 4 just has to move to Sector 3. Now, here's the deal. I think these guys are going to follow the contact. And then these guys are probably going to go and reinforce. But then again, let's see who's over here. It's Scandia Recon players. So they might just pop smoke and then go right to the last sector because they know how to play objective instead of PvP. These guys might see that this is taken and do something like this to regroup or reinforce, but Op 4 is just going to beeline it to Sector 3 at this point. You still have the HMG car here. And you got a big open field, so... Op 4 is going to pretty much have to regroup to push. Blue 4, though, could push the rear of Op 4's force and still prevent them from pushing through, but this is all going to depend on who regroups first, with 19 minutes remaining. It could be anyone's game out of the slowness to regroup here. And Blue 4 Command is still alive. They're over here at this position, so... You got some GL smoke popped over here to help block their view, which partially worked, but... My question now is, where does Op 4 push in? You got 2 staggered groups. You got Bay all on his own. The defenders cannot recapture sectors once they're taken. Bay might go on a killing spree here for all I know and turn it around.
I mean, only until that works.
But now you got Op 4 trying to push up to the line here, regrouped, but you got a Blue 4 group right behind them. Yeah, so Op 4 are really doubling down on the momentum here. Just my question becomes, how is Op 4 going to cross this open area? They got a slightly longer route here, they got a shorter route, but then they have a secondary amount of open... I don't know, man. We have another Blue 4 guy that's been picked off right here, so that's the third. I mean, if Op 4 just keep picking off Blue 4, then at that point, they're going to run out of forces to hide here, so... Wonder if that's been Lolo on the marksman. Nope, he does not have any
Let's
kills.
wait here for the main push, and then once the main push starts, I'm going to smoke it.
They could also smoke the area itself. But yeah, I mean, you got a sandwich here at this point, but if the
His
attack
range
goes
is
horribly and Op4 gets stalled, then there is enough forces on the rear of Op4 to hit them in the ass and then get
Copy
them
smoking.
stuck in really bad positions. But I think Vagrant's able to rally everyone here on Op4, and he's starting to just command everything properly. Sam and Lolo are in the perfect spot, though, to not only deliver marksman rounds, but deliver smoke rounds onto the base itself. However, I think he's out of smokes. He's stuck to flares. And then with one group suppressing, that leaves room for potentially Bravo 1 in this force to push in. How many defenders are we left with? Should be like 6 or 5. Oh my gosh, wait. Yeah, no, 6 left. Started with like 9 or 10. Another guy over here died, so there's been 4 KIA. There's the 15-minute call. AT being fired, it hits the tower. No damage visible. Now you're starting to have some Op4 charge through. They gotta be quick, because if they're not, Blue 4 is gonna be right behind them. You're gonna have another push right here. See, at this point, though, Op4 is gonna get in here. It's gonna turn to CQC, and then they're gonna turn around and stop any Blue 4 from counterattacking them, as Blue 4 are gonna be caught shooting some of these Op4 guys in their rear. Flux might line up to get a kill on Misfit here. There's the 50 cal car pushed up.
Let that thing do its reload.
You hear explosives going off. Blue 4 down to 4 defenders now. 2 more have been taken out. Balitarian's gotten his foot in the door. But as soon as 4 other Op4 guys get in here, unless more Blue 4 guys die, it's going to start the 3-minute timer. Blue 4's southern group is not even close to being in position. At least the northern group is now starting to get online here and fire on the rear. There's so much smoke going out that it's limiting the effectiveness of smoke grenades here. You have Jack running up trying to take out this car, but at least he's distracting it so the rest of his guys can get in here. And within 10 seconds, you're going to start seeing that timer tick down. Great suppressive fire from the open. And grenade central's going off. So now you got Blue 4 shooting the rear of Op4's element coming in. There's the pop-up. And I think enough Op4 are going to be able to get in this sector where it's going to turn around. Now you got Patriot being gunned down by Jack here. Jack is taking fire, though. And the other guy was shot. Depso goes down as Blue 4 command. No, I agree with where the Jeep was. It was to help hunker this area down. It was doing a good job of that, but one Op4 guy pushed up and stopped it. But Blue 4 was just overwhelmed every step of the way. Looks like Blue 4's gunner woke back up. No, it's Op4. The guy got back up, now he's on the gun, and he's shooting at Blue 4 guys that he sees. This exploded, caused an error. Might have been the porta potty exploding, but this is GG. Now you got Blue 4 trying to counterattack, but Op4's Kullish just killed Flux. Now he's hitting Arma Jesus. And he eventually knocks him out. He gets killed, but not before killing another guy. 2 minutes left on this sector, but Blue 4 doesn't have anything left, and now you just see Blue 4 desperately trying to push. In that time, Pierce himself has made much more distance. As I predicted, Op4 is going to get in and then just stop any Blue 4 guys counterattacking from their rear. trying to shoot him as he drove up. Arma Jesus has moved up. These guys haven't noticed that, but Arma Jesus is about to get him. Gets a kill. It's just not enough time.
Send in GOAT Team 6 now.
Come on, you blues.
Donnie, I appreciate the 28-month resub, but I think this is GG. In all honesty, just confusion on both sides really messed with this one. And it allowed Op4 to just do a sweeping attack. So, oh well. Little bit of a round for round one in my opinion, but hey, we could see that turn around. I do appreciate Arma Jesus doing his best to get the headshots where he can, but Sector's gonna run out in 10 seconds. And Arma Jesus is cut down by Giovanni, as I think he got a 6th kill right there, but there it is.
We did it. GG.
Captured by Zone. Ended up being 3, 6, 10 versus 4 in the end. Do I think Blue 4 had a chance with another 5 minutes? Arguably not. But oh well, you know, decent round 1 opening. We'll see how rounds 2 and 3 fare, but that was a late branch mission. And I'm going to be honest with you, that only reinforces the decision I made to not cover the late branch, because imagining that going with even less people would be a bit messy. But that's just my opinion. Anyway, thanks for joining me for round 1. We still got rounds 2 and 3 coming up. We will get set up for that. I'm waiting to see what that next round is so I can start writing up my commands. And Don or one of my other moderators will pay it out. Hopefully. If not, I'll pay it out in a second. Otherwise, it's going to be Ruha, mission made by Banks. A destroy mission. Okay. Any DayZ? Probably not. I did see that it updated Ghost Wolf, but I've got other things on my mind. And don't get me wrong, I think that AO would have been a lot better if it was the previous version of Ad Sector, where as long as there's a defender alive in the AO, the attackers can't capture it, because that would have forced the attackers to then sweep that large sector with a squad or two, and that would have been a lot cooler, in my opinion. But since now sector control is all about just having more people in the sector than your defending opponents to win, you can just, for big sectors like that, just put all your guys in the corner of a sector and wait, 2 to 3 minutes, force the enemy to come to you, and then you're fine. It's... I don't see the point of big sectors anymore for that reason. But, it's not my house. I just complain and complain, apparently. But otherwise, we're going to go ahead and start prepping for round 2. And let's go ahead and get everything set up here. So, let's hit this button. Thank you to the 100+ people watching. I hope you keep enjoying everything. And let's go ahead and get things sorted. What is this, Ruha for the next mission? Let's change up the music. Usually I leave the same thing playing the entire time. Not this one. Let's have a bit of fun with it. By the way, at 8 o'clock tonight, we'll be doing a Warhammer 40k horror op for the 5th OML. So I hope you stick around for that. Alright, map is going to be Ruha for this one. And then the mission is going to be... This is round 2. Once again... Oh, no, okay, there's a BMP-1 on the attacker's side. Blue 4 has a 5% there's advantage and a BMP-1, while Op 4 has... nothing. I guess the mat team's the asset. Yeah, because it just says Op4 has the mat team, which now they have a single mat team as an individual group, but Blue 4 has a BMP1, which, by the way, is probably rescripted to either only have AP rounds in the cannon, or they just rescripted it to have the BTR weaponry. So it'll be one of those two things. Interesting, interesting. Also, 88 for the early branch. We might get up to 90, but those are some of the lowest numbers I've seen for FNF in a while, at least the early/EU branch. So, we'll see how things go. Hey, righto, Willow. Oh, the payout still hasn't happened? Okay. Well, naturally, I'm going to pay it out to Blue 4 to piss you all off, so. Now we'll get into the next round. I'm trying to think, what would have made that AO better, in all honesty? I feel like the whole point of it was forest fighting, based off of the build-up and the mission write-up. It was all about the control of the Heinz Hulk forest. So the AO, 2 of the 3 AOs were in that forest, but if the forest is really important, why not have, you know, some sort of observation post or some sort of facility in the forest that's worth holding? I feel like the AOs were too big. So maybe like a facility in the forest along that MSR that's Sector 2 was in, but, you know, have some additional fortifications in there, and then make about, you know, an AO the size of where Sector 3 in the open field was in the forest, and have that be the main hold point. But limiting the build points to the defenders, I think, was also a bit of a mistake. Because the original pushes that the attackers did in the previous AO worked really well with only limited casualties. It was only the last AOs where the attackers had a heavy amount of casualties because they were being sandwiched on their rear as they pushed in. And they still had guys on the, you know, defensive position shooting down at them, and they had 50 cal car in play. So that goes to show you big open fields are really difficult to cover. As an attacking faction, defenders, it's really easy to hold, but I feel a little confused because that was where, you know, the pinnacle moments were for the sector, and yet all the write-up was talking about how important the forest was, you know? So, I don't know, just felt a little confusing, but hey, it's okay. That's just my 2 cents. You know, why even have Sector 3? Just have 2 sectors or 3 sectors and just have those fortifications you had in Sector 3 just along the, you know, area in Sector 2 and make it like a half to a quarter of the size, you know? That's just my opinion on how I, as a Zeus, would have done it, but, you know, c'est la vie. I do appreciate the campaign style they were going for, though, because it was clear there were other missions in there that were part of it. And if I ever got into FNF mission making, which I tried, but then stuff happened, and then I decided not to do it because it was more trouble than it was worth, but I digress. That's how I would have done it. Would have been campaigns of, okay, let's start a mission here in the middle of a conflict. Okay, this side won, let's do this. Okay, this side won, let's counterattack with this, blah, blah, blah. That would have been really cool, but yeah. Making it 3 sectors is giving the leader a choice. I agree with that. But I think Sector 3's position, Jan Salvi, was just... It kind of bypassed the whole point of what the buildup was in the sector, and that's also where the most fighting and the most people died, in my opinion, or at least a good chunk, at least a third to a half. So, I don't know, just my opinion. Little old man, I can check. We just got to tab out. I have 19,396.8 hours. So let's round that up to 19,397. Let me get my calculator. 19, right? No, let me tab out again. 19,397, right? So that's hours. So let's divide that by 24. 808 days divided by 365. A little under 2.25 years. So 2.25 of my life has been on this platform, which makes sense because I have been doing this since 2016, and I Zeus roughly anywhere from 5 to 10 ops a week. Now, that is, let's do a quick breakdown here. Actually, I'm gonna reverse everything. Let's say on average in my career, I've Zeused 6 ops a week. So let's take 6, and then the Zeus, that takes about 2 hours of time. So 2 hours. Hold up, I'm thinking about my math here. Before we even do that, let's see. Since 2016, since like June. So let's treat 2016 as half a year. And then rolling it up, so 2016 to 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 5, so 6. So let's do 5.5 years. So 52 times 5.5 is 286. 286 weeks. So times that by the 6 ops I do on average. Times it by 2 for the hours. And then we times it by another... This is hard to say because mission dev is a bitch. I'm going to say 2 hours for that. And then, see, I have a formula for Zeusing. I don't have one for ground, like all the ops I do on the ground, because that greatly varies. Why are we doing math? I know. Yeah, and then the 40 hours of testing, right, Stephonics? But in all seriousness, when you break down everything I do for a living, let me just put it on average on a week, because now I really want to compute this out. So let's say 7 ops a week. All the man hours that go into it that are in Arma only would be the 2 hours Zeusing it, and then the 2 to 3 hours working on it. So that's 5. So 7 times 5, that's 35 hours a week on all of that alone. And let's say I play, on average these days, 2 or 3 ops on the ground. So multiply that by 2, because that's the average amount of runtime. That's adding 6 extra hours. So 41 hours, and then times 286, that's 11,700 hours right there. So the remaining, 8,000 hours are probably credited with the fact that I used to play a lot more on the ground, the fact that MCOs take dozens of hours to make, multiple test missions to make, special projects like Splendid Squad, and then the other stuff I do for the SOG Prairie Fire dev team, which, you know, we're starting to do more of. Special events take a while as well because I have to go through multiple iterations, multiple people going through it. I have to stream the mission dev to people and go, hey, this is what we're doing. And just all of that added up, yeah, over the course of 6 years, give or take. Yeah, and then that's what I'm talking about, Devour. Like, the big projects take much more than 2 hours. You'd be lucky if they took 2 hours. Nah, it's more like 10, give or take. Yeah, that's why there's so much time out there. A business out of it? I mean, I guess I'm the only person in the world that does it purely out of Arma 3. Because every other YouTuber out there, I guess Jester814 would also contend for that. Trying to think who else, like, actually makes a living off of this as their sole-time job. Because everyone else up there, Digby, Remy, Soviet, they had it as a chunk. Don't get me wrong. Oh, I miss Brewer too. But, you know, they also do other stuff, and their bread and butter comes from, you know, the YouTube revenue and stuff. YouTube throttles the shit out of me. My main revenue source is Twitch. But, yeah, no, as a business model, Rubik's, Does Rubik's do other things too, though? I'm not sure. He's a good guy, though. I'd say out of all of them up there, he's probably the one I like the most, other than Drum, but yeah. Yeah, he plays other stuff. But, I mean, it would depend on their YouTube uploading. But here's the thing about Zeusing is you're also doing all the mission development and whatnot. And trust me, there's a stark difference between, you know, people that actively make the missions and then people that just sit up and play. You know? That's just my opinion. I'm not trying to sound elitist when I say that. I'm just trying to contemplate why I have, you know, over 19,000 hours in this game. And that's because of all of that. So, I don't know. It just sounds like whining now, so I'm going to shut up. Otherwise, round 2 getting started. Don, you on to do a prediction, or should I? And I only have Nemesis streaming tonight, unfortunately, so. All right, Don. Can you make a prediction for me, buddy? I'd appreciate it. All right, the 3 objectives here. It looks like it is Blue 4 Polish forces going against a Russian tank-producing plant that gets shipped out by freight. Jason, thanks for the raid, buddy. I don't know why the bot still isn't doing raids. I looked into it, and nothing looked wrong, but clearly it's still not working. Otherwise, what were you playing, man? All right, so we have a server, a power generator, and a backup generator. All right, so it's not generic caches. It's actually parts of a tank facility. Interesting enough. Blue 4 have the railways to work with. They got some forested areas to cover. I'd imagine Op 4 is probably going to come out and set up a defensive line right here. Maybe another defensive line here. But Blue 4, they only have a few routes to go in on. Ooh, sun on the horizon. Interesting. Oh, I wish. Oh, that would be interesting. Otherwise, Banks made this mission. Background, June 2031, after several Russian Union defeats at the hands of NATO, Polish forces, Blue 4, have inserted into occupied Poland under the cover of darkness via a railway track on the German border. Their first action in a wider plan to retake their homeland is to disable a tank assembly plant controlled by Russian Union forces by destroying an off-site server and its main and backup power generators. In their way stand the Chechen Russian Union forces, OPFOR, who are garrisoned at a nearby bunker. Losing the plant at this crucial time in the inevitable war would, I assume that's their code for World War III, would deal a terrible blow to the Russian Union war effort, and the Chechens must keep it running at all costs. Note, the objective have different levels of difficulty to destroy as follows. Server, easy. 10 rounds of small arms fire to shoot out the server. Backup generator, medium, 2 grenades or 1 clip of small arms fire. Main generator, hard, 1 light anti-tank round or explosive charge. Cool, I like that feature. So, you got pictures of all 3 assets here. If only one is kept alive by the end of the round, the defenders win by default. Otherwise, mission variables here, 900-meter render distance, no magnified optics, nor MVG equipment. It's probably going into morning right now. Defender build points are 150. Nice. Medium anti-tank is only going to matter for OPFOR because they have their anti-tank. Team Blue 4 does not. They only get 2 AT rounds per. I'll break that down if I see it. Otherwise, Blue 4's kits are going to be the Modern Polish Military Intelligence Services Special Forces Group. Their weaponry is going to be Remington ACRs, either the regular or the carbine version, Glock 17s as a secondary. Light machine gunners are going to get the FN Mini-Me. Medium machine gunners are going to get the MG3. Light anti-tanks are going to be an M136. And then you have an MP5 or Remington for the crew and aviation because they do have a BMP with them. Nothing on CSW. Here's their BMP-1. Again, I'd imagine it's retextured, not with the 2A28 gun. But they probably will have the PKT and probably a KPTV as well. I hear people complain about not having tourniquets. That sucks. Anyway, 3 transport BRDMs and 8 transport Humvees. So they do get vehicles to move up this time. I'd imagine, though... Yeah, so this can move 32 people total. The BRDM have a capacity for 10, so that's an additional 30. And then the BMP has a capacity of 21. So I think they have the numbers to go fully mechanized and motorized if they want to. That'd be an interesting call. Otherwise, OPFOR's uniforms are the modern Chechen forces camouflage. So a mix of OPFOR and Blue 4 gear. From Raven vests to EMR to Russian hats to Blue 4 fast ballistic helmet. I only know that one because that is the only black helmet in RHS USAF, and I use black all the time for camo schemes, so that's how I know that one specifically. Otherwise, they have a mix of AKSs or AK-74s modernized. Light machine gunners get the RPK, medium machine gunners get a PKP, light anti-tank gets a single shot for the RPG.
Like
Crew and aviation don't matter because I don't think they have any crew slots there.
Gun the guy down.
Otherwise, assets include, you know, I guess I lied to you, 43 T-72s. Okay. You know, I might have lied to you. Let's go back and cover that. Crew and aviation get a choice of a PP-2000 or an AKS. Anyway, 43 tanks, an Mi-24, a transport Vodnik, 2 UAZs, and a Gaz-66. So let me explain real quick before some of you actually bet. The script that covers the AO, these red boxes, are trained to put any information that they detect in terms of vehicle classes into here as detection scripts. So there are 43 tanks in this AO. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Which means at the tank facility, there's another like 40 tanks in here. So I'm wondering where I'm going to see a big chunk of them stored at this point. Oh yeah, there you go. I don't see any on the train yards, but okay, here they are. So yeah, lots of tanks. Lots of tanks. So that's why. They're Op 4 doesn't have any vehicle use, unfortunately. This is just what they got. But anyway, Shai is going to be commanding for Op 4. Fred is going to be his medic. Depso leading Alpha. Tymek is his 2IC. Slushy taking the marksman role, which looks like their marksman rifle is going to be a Dragonov. Olaf being the medic. Drago leading Alpha 1 with Mutant Sam. Lolo and Seasmo under him. Valitarian looks like he's merged Bravo 1 under him. Has Flaninja, Zombie Forever, Solak, Grenaz, Pingus, MFL, Petrovsky, Albersi, Mixaku, and Giovanni under him. Skits leading Bravo 2 with Huller, Storm, Daedalur, and Zally under him. Newton leading Delta with Ali Poos being his 2IC. Coco being the medic. Khalil leading Delta 1 with Blast. Renly, Heartseer, and Toxic under him. No leader for Delta 2 here. It's just Bayant, Flux, Artisan, and Rodrig. And then Echo is going to be Azuki, Holton, and Wise all together. I would assume as the Matt team. So I'd assume Holton is the gunner for the AT, and then he's got an assistant Wise, so that means they have 4 rockets total for that group. Otherwise, that is that. There's a naked dude right there. Interesting. Otherwise, Blue 4 is going to be commanded by the one man himself that I know you all love, Pierce. Fonz is going to be his 2IC.
Send in GOAT Team 6
Oh.
now.
There's some sound play here. And they might have an invisible vehicle here, or this might actually be something interesting. I'm going to break down the file and see how they did that. Otherwise, it is going to be Steve leading Alpha 1 as Kabubi Face, under him as the marksman, which looks like it's just going to be an ACR with an E-Clan on it. And then Aki is going to be the medic. Snafarina leading Alpha 1 with Michael, Vagrant, Grav, and Twin under him. Norris leading Alpha 2 with Fresno, Legs, Ghoster, Iqbal, and Rufy under him. Swola leading Bravo with no 2IC. Gazag is going to be the marksman, and Misfit going to be the medic. Banks leading Bravo 1 with Ash, Waldo, and Major Khan. Andriri landing... no, it's Andriri. I can never pronounce his name right. Leading Bravo 2 with Chemviak, Bard, and Rapier. Naders leading Charlie with Patriot as a marksman. Pro Hunter leading Charlie 2 with Solomon's Gogu, Crazy, and Aim at the Balls. No Charlie 1, and Nemesis is going to be leading, Iander is going to be leading Delta with Nemesis as the medic. Kazuo leading Delta 1 with Whiplash, Centric, and Morgan. Lurch leading Delta 2 with Cullis and Kratz. And then you have the vehicle crew of Oddball, Jack, and Sam Hanwich taking the BMP-1, which is somewhere around here.
When the drivers turned out.
I see.
Oh, I swear this was broken.
Willow, thanks for gifting Illowman a sub. I hope you both keep enjoying the operations, and I hope you get a nice kick out of this scenario.
I swear.
So how many guys do you have help you make mission scripts and all the good stuff, or is it just you? Man, 97, 98% me. Once in a blue moon, I outsource things, but it's very rare, so... I think the latest things I outsourced was a Hive composition by Devour, which I ended up not using because it was just too laggy for me to use, but we still did an op in it for Halloween, which was great, that Devour hosted. And then the Backrooms assets, which I still have yet to do an op for, but I finally have a concept to do them with, so I want to get them done by mid-November in terms of that op idea. But that's 2 ops. And weekly I run 5 to 7 to even 9, so I'm a one-man show. And I kind of like it that way, because when I outsource stuff, it is hit or miss for various reasons. Is this my server? No, this is FNF server. I'm here as a guest to commentate for them. No, if I ran FNF, this would be a lot different. Oh my god. It would be a lot different. I'm a firm believer of that tactical. If you want to do it right, you do it yourself. But I've also mastered the strategy of if I don't want to lead or do anything, I don't bitch. I just sit there and go, okay. And then I stay in cover while everyone else charges the open field and gets shot to shit. And I just go, okay. That's cool. One of my favorite examples was in a TMTM op where in a Fallujah op on the northern side outside the city, our MRAP took a rocket and everyone immediately dismounted and started running in the open field, and I just sat in the back of the car like, huh. Imagine that. And, yeah, half of them died. The rocket guy was killed by another squad and a tank that we had. And here I am just sitting in the back of the car like, yes. That was fun. But I have some other op concepts I want to get through, but we'll get there when we get there. October was, well, financially it was a good month. It's also a crappy month because of other reasons, but they don't cover the channel. More personal stuff, but yada-da.
Oh, yeah.
See, we're close enough we can see their markers when they put them down.
Enemy positions along
I honestly think Blue Forest should just follow the forests up. I mean, with their vehicles, they should just divert onto the MSR, dismount here, and then just walk up the forested route and just go through the forested areas right here. If they want to try to drive, they can actually, because the map border's right here, so just drive up here, dismount, push in through the forested areas, because everywhere else is kind of meh. You could also bring some forces around, dismount here, maybe have a squad push up the river right here to potentially flank, but nowhere else in this AO are things really manageable, you know? You want to attack from at least concealment, but hopefully cover. And there's not a lot of AO to work with here. But otherwise, all right, let's go ahead and look at everything here. So the server is right here. One well-placed grenade. It's literally at the doorway. They didn't even put it behind the damn desk. Someone could literally snipe it from all the way back here. Just, you know, a few marksman shots. Meanwhile, you have a generator in here in this building. It's in the corner, so it can be shot from the doorway right here with AT. That's not bad. But, you know, this is a defensible position in here. And then the backup generator is hidden in this corner, which I do appreciate. But yeah, you've got the 2 search areas, which are these thicker red boxes. But they divided it to basically encompass this entire compound, which I do appreciate as well. Yeah, I don't really see any other way Blue 4 can attack this one. They could just try pushing up the railway tracks. And they do have the BMP to work with, but the BMP can just come over here and watch their northern side and use this open area, get behind this position right here and cover from over here. Hi, Boo. Bloodwing has kebab for dinner. Here, set it up over there. I'll, Huh? What? Oh, yes, I'll come eat a little bit in between rounds 2 and 3. Happy Friday. No, it's not waterboarding time. FNF is just a collection of units PvPing together. That is the best way to put it. Similar to OFCRA.
Let's give him a warm welcome, shall we?
Now, I do appreciate they're building a little fortified tower up here. However, as soon as this gets noticed, it's going to be shot to shit. But, hey, you know, might as well.
Can you make it like higher in some places? Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, so trying to give themselves some more positions of cover. He just fell. Yeah, all the way down. That's cute. Did he fall or did he jump?
What's up?
He got Op 4 mounted up over here.
Yeah.
This is a
Good
PvP up? Yes,
yeah.
Everything you see right here is a player. There's no AI.
I'll be fine. I'll rocket him first. I'll go rocket.
All right. Round has started. And Blue 4 is already on a convoy here. A few people forgot to mount up. Yeah, they're taking every vehicle possible here. Yeah, 2 people forgot to mount. It's like a BRDM's turning around to pick them up. I'm willing to bet you right now they're gonna dismount somewhere in here. Maybe they'll come around back here, but that's incredibly risky. But Op4's predicting it. They're putting a squad down right here as well. No. Okay, let's see where they go then if they're diverting off already. BRDM finally picked up those 2 guys. You know, you're right. It is a Pierce play, so anything is technically possible. So we have a force diverting over on the left side.
You don't have it when you use comms? I'll do it.
Are they gonna dismount over here? Okay. With the intent to cross over? No, they're switching the driver out. And they have an unconscious guy. What did you do? What? I literally looked away for 5 seconds. The objectives are 2 power units and a server. Alright, looks like we got everyone dismounted. I don't think they have any KIA, but they've just hit it or something. So you have one squad all the way around right here to potentially flank around. But you got the BMP heading towards them, so that element's going to be out the window for anything stealthy. I'm struggling to figure out what they're doing here. Is it a feint and then they charge up the railway with their vehicles? I don't know. Because if you're going to bring the loud BMP over to a front with a squad, the only thing I can think of is a distraction.
Yes.
So now they're coming in. We hear some shots back here. Two-story garage. Some medical was done here as well. Did someone fall off or? They're trying to repair stuff. They gotta repair the other wheel. All right, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know what this plan is. Like, usually I'm able to predict it, but I feel like this is a bait and switch to then rush. This has to be a bait play, because Catch just discharged over here to get all of Op4's attention. So that's what Pierce is doing. He's using these guys, and he's going to use the BMP. To basically draw Op4 out in a forming defensive line here so Blue 4 can just drive up the road by the railway bridge. Well, not a bridge. I thought there was a bridge there. No, my bad. Just the railway roads to get right on top. It's a rush. It's baiting the player base to then do a rush, which I guess works. Huh. So we're just going to wait to see this one squad contend with this force, get them pinned, and then I guess these guys are going to charge right in. Pierce's master bait plan. You're right. He's using... Okay. Professional streamers here, all right? Pierce's ground command for Blue 4. He is sending in a squad. This squad containing some of his best forces here. It's Delta, all right? He is using these guys pretty much as bait here, all right? Pierce seems to be a master at baiting in terms of running distraction plays here. So this is going to cause Op4 to come out here and take the bait, essentially. That's going to allow Pierce to then rush right in after he's done with his master baiting strategy. So we'll see if Op4 falls for it, because I don't see this type of strategy done a lot in PvP in general. So I think Op4 might just be desperate enough for contact to actually go for this strat here. And then we also have the BMP on the side of the bait force to support the bait group as they push in to try to pull all of Op4 away. But we do have another line of Op4 right here, which could then fold in and stop Pierce's master baiting strategy here. So we'll have to see how things go. All right, Ojo, man. Hope you're successful. All right, there's more gunfire there as Blue 4 starts firing on some Op4 positions. That's near Zombie Forever, who hasn't even really noticed. Alright, so they're going to be popping smoke here. BMP, I think, might have just taken AT, but it was really short. Yeah, using Scandy as bait, right? Well, Maz, it's a Pierce play, and I think Pierce is just the master at baiting strategies, you know? Oh my god, yep! Here's the rush! I can't believe it, they're actually doing... So what, are they gonna dismount right behind the infantry here and just try to, like, wipe them? You know, I don't care if it works or it doesn't work, Yanni. The fact we're seeing something like this just makes me a little happy. It's probably going to be Mutant that notices first. This is fucking ridiculous. He's got his AirPods in. Yes! Oh! Classic. Oh my god. He just threw a grenade on himself and somehow tanked that grenade. Oh! You know the force that was there that they reported? Yeah, they're just gonna turn around and engage. The BMP also blew up somehow. Oh my god. Yeah, so now the force that was on defense to deal with this group that Blue 4 would have called out that they were there have now turned around and are shooting the rear of the push-in. Oh my god. This is actually incredible. For all of the wrong reasons. See, if this was a rush to blow up the objectives, I get it, because now Blue 4's in the door, but they still have to go to that other thing. So I guess, are they going to then get back and rush through after they find these two things to destroy, or how's that going to work? A 1,000 points for Pierce. I agree. Lilo man. I agree with that. And you got Scandy that's got to cross open fields here, but at least Op4's turning around. Blue 4 have about 30% casualties. Op 4 only up to 5. And now you got Op 4's other force now turning around. Maybe Blue 4 can bypass and send a guy to go blow the server up, but... All right, so that objective was destroyed. Naders put a few grenades on it. The other objectives in here, which doesn't have anyone defending. I don't see any explosives on it just yet, but crazy. Okay, still outside of the building. Now you got Blue 4 moving in. They're shooting at some of the guys that are on fortifications up here. This is such a mess. Because now you got the other Op 4 squad starting to come in on the south. Got a little bit of CQC as Op 4 is trying to fold around. Maybe, again, maybe Blue 4 runs a few people over after they blow up the other objective here. Now you got Scandy all the way back here. Most of the Blue 4 element here is dead. Oh my god. Timex still above. Does Naders have explosives? He does not. Does he have light anti-tank? He does not. We got the marksman back here. It's Slushy trying to put pot shots on Scandia Recon. You got Echo, the weapon team element, sweeping a few individuals over here. Oddball now coming up, gets one. My god. Azuki wakes up only to be gunned down again. That grenade rolls back. Another grenade, it chucks right though. Holton's taking multiple shots here, a few more even. Still kicking. And he's finally gunned down. Ash is hiding. Well, grenade would have been better. Oh, God. Yeah. And there's your grenade. That one came from a rifle, though. It's called an underslung grenade launcher, and I just caster cursed at the poor bastard. I did ask, and I immediately received. So Blue 4's down to 3 people in the facility. Op 4... See, Op 4's confused by the fact that Blue 4 had all those force in there. They're looking for more Blue 4 to fight at this point. Might have just had some red on red right here. Oh, you still have red on red.
Gdzie zgrzana? Drzewami? Dobra, grzana, dasz sobie radę. Qu'est-ce que tu fais?
All right.
Send in goat team
A little bit of
6.
suppressing fire up here, up on where op force positions are.
What's our friendly presence on point looking like right now?
What is the friendly presence on point? Shooting at the top of everything. Now you got Pepega running through this sector.
I got one.
Alright, so Naders, he's in this sector here. He doesn't have anything to destroy this with, so I guess he's trying to bait. Well, he didn't really last long, did he? So now it's just up to Scandi Recon to push in here. No, we do have Ripier over here. We had Olaf, but I think Olaf's dead. Well. Here's how Blue 4 can still win. They're outnumbered 2-1 at this point. They're stuck, and they gotta cross through a danger area. You know, I did hear him say he killed Naders, and I would be curious to know how he knew that that was Naders. That's probably a Malin thing, though. And I think Ban's now trying to push on the flank here. Ooh, a grenade. Doesn't bounce enough, though. That one might be an issue. Oh, he's dead. Yeah. There's so many Op 4 here that Blue 4 is being forced to, or Op 4 is being forced to counterattack. Yeah. I'm in the middle of round 2, honey. Still have a round. So right here, I'd imagine, is trying to mag dump it, but this is the bigger one, which means he needs an explosive to do so. We'll see if any Op 4 come in there. Maybe they'll give them to him on accident. You got Iander leading. Anyway. We're not going to talk about it. Arma Jesus flanking around on the corner here. Normal service. Don't worry about it. I am a curse on society. I know. Blue 4's down to, I think, 6 players left. Op 4 at least has over a dozen. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yeah, 21. Morgan gets blown away. Oddball shot from multiple angles. Possibly double tapped. Morgan getting double tapped as well. There goes Sam. Now you got Flux running up. There goes Zentrick. Flux getting tagged by Nem. 2 Blue 4 remaining. Oh, joy. Right Beer's probably just going to corner camp here. And then you got Nemesis over here. Nem's pulling back. Right Beer's pulling back. We have a Gaz being driven through the forest over here, I guess to pick up these guys to do something? How would I have attacked the objective? Simple. Dismount right here, push your infantry on foot, have your BMP-1 on your right flank, and then you can situate it to engage anything that's fortified here, and then use your BMP-1 from over here to engage into the compound as the infantry cross this danger crossing, leave 1 squad over here to support, as then the infantry push in from the south, sweep and clear the sector, and then use the forest, and then go to the other position. Easy as that. Didn't really need the rush. Because all that did was all the forces that were right here shooting at this group immediately turned around and killed all the people that tried to rush in because they were still in positions of cover to do it from. Now Nemesis is being hunted and Right Pierce corner camping. And there goes Nemesis. I love how you hear Slushy and Samon yelling over there. Now here's the deal. Right Pierre can still win this if he finds some AT, he blows that up, and then he beelines it to the final objective and mag dumps it. I know, okay, it was really fun to watch. It made for good content. Ooh, did he find an explosive? Yes, he did. Now he's got to run to the other sector. Like, beeline it. No, right here. Run. Run. You can beeline it to the final sector. I believe in you. Just triple time. Go. Oh my god. Time it. Kill him. Kill him. All right, yay, spaghetti, yay. All right, I'm not gonna cover round 3 because dinner's already here. I'm gonna go strangle Bloodwing. So Thank you so much for watching. Go operate operationally. Enjoy the rest of your day or night. Cheers. We'll be back in 2 hours. And otherwise, have a good one.